Okay, with what's my camera? Sorry, keep knocking you about. Basically, bolted all the bolts to bolt the case together. Is these M8 bolts, as you can see, all the way around. There's a couple of hidden sort of round the back there as well on the other side, which can trick you a little bit. Oil pump has to come out. So there's basically a cover on there and the oil pump. Loosen these bolts, take all these bolts out and then give it a bit of a tap and a wiggle and a bit of easing oil, and the oil pump comes out this way. So then there's all these M8 bolts all the way around. Some are just nuts and these ones are bolts. You can't really mix them up, you don't have to label them or anything. And then there's 8 big ones, big M10, M12, the big ones there. And then it's just a case of tap everything. You can get a tool to go in there and open up. I ain't got one of them, but I've never needed one. Just sort of tap the halves of the case until you get a bit of a crack and put a screwdriver in and just jiggle it and keep jiggling it, and then it comes apart. So I'll try and see if it will come apart now while you're watching. So it kind of wants to stay together. It's kind of the weight of everything pushes it together. But there we go. There she blows. So normally you can take it apart and leave the crank in one side, which is preferable. You can see it's coming. You've got to be careful not to damage the flanges too much, or if you do mark them, make sure you clean it up, because obviously it's got to seal at some point. Okay, let's go for a bit more. Yeah, there she blows. When you put them together, you can do it all with it stood up on its end. It's quite easy. You can do it on an engine stand, but obviously you can't get to see everything. So I just tend to do it like this. Normally the crank stays in one half, like I said, like it is doing. So that's it. So I think this is where all the bits drop off. Right. So that's one half of the case. So as you can see, the cam followers normally stay in. They're a bit stiff. So there your cam followers. There your halves of bearings. And you've got a complete bearing there as well. So yeah, so that's basically the gist of taking it apart. The cam bearings kind of fall out a bit, but not the end of the world. Might reuse them. I'll see what the wear on the cam is like. I believe it had a new cam. Meant to have had everything machined, a new cam and everything, so yeah, there's a bit of wear on that. So basically I'm just going to see what size main bearing it is, check the crank, see if I can see anything wrong. I can't see it particularly wrong. I think I'm probably just going to put it back together with new bearings. Sometimes if this pickup pipe where it pushes into the case is loose, I normally leave them in. It's bolted on sort of there on the flange. If you undo that and this wiggles and it's loose, it's not tight, you can sort of crimp it a bit and make it tighter, because obviously you lose oil pressure. But yeah, everything looks sort of okay. No sign of this back bearing moving at all. The dowel pin, there's sort of a dowel pin there, dowel pin there, dowel pin there. Now the way you put them together is you put this bearing, this round bearing at the back, take it off the crank, put it in here, locate it in the dowel, and then scribe a mark. So then you put this half of the crank in that side, because that's where your timing gear is. And then you can line camshaft, what with the dots on there. I'll show you that when I put it together, and that's it basically. And then obviously this is the area that seals the case, so you've got to clean that up. There's like a cam plug at the back, which you've got to be careful, make sure you seal that properly. I think I'm going to put this back together with that, the same stuff as I used on the Porsche engine, the 574 Loctite, because that didn't leak at all. That's brilliant on the bottom bearing carrier. So yeah, just sort of show you that coming apart. I think the next job is to sort of clean everything up and check everything, and then assess what I need to replace. Those cam followers, they've got quite a dipping, they have. Which makes me think, it makes me think that the guy's done it and he's put some of the old bits back in. Because them cam followers should be pretty flat, pretty worn. Well, maybe that's how they come. But as far as I'm aware, they look a bit worn, they do. I mean, it went like stink. Like I say, it was just chucking a bit of oil out, but that may just be because of that seal. But we'll see what size bearings it's got in and measure up the crank. I've got one of them tools that sort of sits in the case to measure the case as well, to make sure the case is within spec. So I'll get all this cleaned up and checked, and then I'll do another video of what I found and what we're going to do with it. Like I say, if it needs too much, it might be a case I've got another bottom end that I could just build up as an engine, so I might just build that up. But I'd like to save the original. You know, it's not got to be perfect. It's just got to be a decent running engine. I'd like to save it. I'd like to keep the car original with the original engine, with the original sort of code on. I know you can sand it off and stamp it and stuff, but you know, nearly one owner from new and low 100,000 miles with the original engine rebuilt is pretty good, really. So we shall try that. So right, I think it's time to sort of tidy up a little bit and go home. Like I say, I'll do another video once I've cleaned it up. It'll probably be Monday now. Clean it up and check everything, see what bits I've got to get. On first inspection, I can't see much wrong, really. Bearing's not moving. It just comes down to if the crank is the right size. I've got a sneaky suspicion it's not, that they've put the wrong bearings in. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. It did sort of run. It was just chucking oil out everywhere, and I gave up with it, really. It's probably leaking out of here as well. One thing I did notice, these big studs, all of these weren't dead tight. They should be torqued up a fair bit, but then they came undone like hand tight. I did tighten them up just to check, because sometimes if the case is distorted and you tighten it up and the crank locks up, that's a sign that the case, you know, these bearing surfaces aren't in line. And I tightened them all back up and it still spun nice and free. So it's not that. I think maybe somebody just didn't tighten them up enough. Like I said before, I did put big end bearings in it, but you do that with the case together. You can do that, put your hands sort of through the holes and do it like that. We could do something wild with it. We could build a 1776 and get the case machined and stuff, but to be honest, a good 1500, they're sound. They go well enough. Keep up with modern traffic all day long. Surprise plenty of cars off the mark. You know, sit at 65, 70 on the motorway quite happily, and pretty decent on fuel and easy to maintain. The last engine I had in, it had twin carbs on, so you imagine the heads are here. And you've got to take the carbs off, really, to get the plugs out the back. And it's just a bit of a nightmare, and you can't see all the fuel pipe and stuff, so, you know, it was a good exercise to build that engine, because I bought it for not a lot and built it up into a nice engine and sold it, and some of that money paid for the Porsche, so it was a good little project for me. But I think this one's going to go back to stock, so if you're enjoying the vid, subscribe. If you just like Porsches, I'm sorry I'm doing a Volkswagen, but you know, I've got to keep everything on the road. You know, they've all got to be sort of kind of maintained. The camper's going to need some body work at some point, which I'll probably do some videos on that. I think get this engine in and get this back on the road, and running up and nice. And then it's probably a case of back onto the Porsche, get some money together and get the suspension, start working my way through the suspension. And obviously by then I should have done the 500 miles so I can do the sump. And see how that works without a gasket, see if we can just seal it on without a gasket, because it's a daft idea, that gasket. And I don't think the silicone ones are that much better. They're better, but they're still not perfect. So I know it's to do with heat transfer, but you know, I'm talking about a different car now, aren't I? But yeah, so I hope you're enjoying the vids. If you are, subscribe, give me some likes, give me some comments. I'd still like to know if anybody's got any experience with coilovers on a 928. So either the Hero ones that you can get from America that adjust the height and whatever, and also the gas ones, which are available in England, aren't ridiculously expensive. They just seem like you can adjust the tension of them. You can't adjust the height of the car. If anybody's got any of them and driven one with any of them on, you know, says, oh God, it's too hard. I don't want to spoil the drive of it. It's all right. I just think it's a bit bouncy. I think the shockers are a bit worn on it. So if anybody's got any ideas about that, then that's fine. Okay, I'll see you next time.